Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to start with chapter 10 of history, and the name is Traders, Kings and Pilgrims. Children, we all are very much aware that southern India was famous for a lot of things like gold, spices, pottery, silk and many more things. The colonial powers, the foreign powers, they got attracted towards these things. They came to India as traders and they started exporting these commodities to their own country, the things which their country are in need of. Then we also studied about the king rule. So let's start with this chapter and see how the traders, kings and pilgrims, they are all interconnected. We are also going to discuss about the Buddhism, how Buddhism became very famous in India. Then we will also discuss about the famous Silk Route, why and how this route became famous. Then lastly, we will also discuss about the various Chinese travelers who came to India and wrote the various things about the Indians as well as India. So let's begin with the chapter. So children, we were discussing about the traders, kings and pilgrims. As I have told you, and we all know that South India was famous for gold, spices, pepper and even precious stones. And you know children, pepper was valued so much by the Roman emperor that it is called black gold. So what pepper is known as? Pepper is known as black gold. And traders, they took advantage of the monsoon winds and they crossed the sea quickly and they came to India. Among the river valley of the southern half of the subcontinent, Kaveri was the most fertile river and the area near about it was very fertile. Sangam poems mentions the Movendar, who are three chiefs, Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, who were very powerful in South India around 2300 years ago. So children, you have to remember these who were Sangam poems and what are they known as. Sangam poems, they mention the Movendar. Movendar means three chiefs. And the name of the chiefs were Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. And they were very powerful in South India near about 2300 years ago. And each chiefs had two centers of power, one inland and one on the coast. And of these 6 cities, two important centers are Puhar or Kaveri Pattinam, the port of the Cholas, and Madurai, the capital, which was the capital of the Pandyas. Children, the chiefs, they did not collect regular taxes, but instead of the taxes, they demanded gifts from the people. And around 200 years ago, Satavahanas, they became very powerful in the western India, and their important ruler was the Gautamiputra Sri Satkami. He and other Satavahana rulers, they were known as lords of the Dakshinapat, literally route leading to the south. So children, I hope this much you have understood. Then children, here I will be telling you about one more route which was discovered, that is the Silk Route. And Silk Route, it was discovered or invented in China. The techniques of making silk through this Silk Route, children, the silk silk textile is being imported and exported. And the techniques of making silk, they were invented first in China around 7,000 years ago. And China went to distant, and the people from China, they went to distant lands on foot. And children, sometimes these Chinese rulers, they sent gifts of silk to rulers in Iran and West Asia, and from there the knowledge of silk spread further west. So overall I want to say that the silk is being exported from the root, and the best known rulers who control the silk route, that is the route from where only the trading of silk was done. And the rulers who controlled the silk route were the Kushanas, who ruled over Central Asia and Northwest India around 2000 years ago. And children, two major centers of power, and their two major centers of power were Peshawar and Mathura. Then who were traders? The people who buy things where they are made and sell them somewhere else. So those were known as traders. How do we know about ancient trade? From different kinds of findings like NBPW in different parts of the continent, Sangam coins in the subcontinent, Roman coins in the subcontinent, and Sangam literature. So through these three different findings, the people, they know about the ancient trade. Then, as I was talking about the Kushanas, the most famous Kushana ruler was Kanishk, who ruled around 1900 years ago. And Ashwaghosh, a poet who composed a biography of the Buddha, that is known as the Buddha Charita, he lived in his court. And Ashwaghosh and other Buddhist scholars, they began writing in Sanskrit. So I was talking about NBPW. NBPW means Northern Black Polished Ware. This fine pottery, especially bowls and plates, were found at several archaeological sites throughout the continent. And traders, they may have carried them from places where they were made to sell them at other places. So these are the sites, these are the places where this Northern Black Polished Warehouses sites were there. That is, the trading of these things were done, and these were the places mainly used for the trade of these things. Second, we were talking about the Roman gold coins. South India was famous for gold, as I have told you in the beginning of the chapter. Gold, spices, especially black pepper, and precious stones. And pepper was very valued in the Roman Empire. In fact, as I have told you, it was called black gold. And the traders carried many of these goods to Rome in ships by sea or in caravans by land. So trade routes, what were the routes which were opted for while carrying those things? So traders exported several sea routes. Some of these followed the coast. Other routes were across the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. In routes across the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, sailors took advantage of the monsoon winds to cross the seas more quickly. For example, if the start point is East Africa or Arabia and end point western coast of the subcontinent, then they chose to sail with the southwest monsoon, and sturdy ships had to be built for these long journeys. Children, as I have told you before also, that techniques of making silk was first invented in China around 7,000 years ago. And some people from China, they went to the nearby lands on foot, horseback and camels, and where they carried the silk with them. These paths were known as Silk Route, as they carried silk with them. Those paths, those areas from where they walked, it was known as Silk Route. Chinese rulers, they sent gifts of silk to the rulers in Iran and West Asia, and from there the knowledge of silk further spread west. People living along the routes, they often demanded payments for allowing traders to pass through. Some kings, they tried to control the large portions of the route to benefit from the taxes. In return, they protected the traders from the attacks of the robbers. Kushanas, as I have told you, were the best known of the ruler who controlled the Silk Route, and their two major centers were Peshawar and Mathura. And the famous of the Kushanas were Kanishk, who ruled around 1900 years ago. He organized a Buddhist council. Ashwaghosh, a poet, he composed a biography of the Buddha known Buddha Charita, lived in his court. Then a new form of Buddhism known as Mahayana Buddhism was developed. Earlier, the Buddha's presence was shown by science. Now statues of the Buddha were made. They were believed in Bodhisattvas, person who attained enlightenment, and these person, instead of meditating, they taught and helped other people. The worship of Bodhisattvas were popular in Central Asia, China, Korea and Japan. And children, the older form of Buddhism was known as Theravada Buddhism. It was popular in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand and other parts of Southeast Asia. As traders, they traveled to distant nearby lands in the caravans. Pilgrims also started with them. Children, do you know who are pilgrims? Pilgrims are the men and women who undertake journeys to holy places in order to offer worship. So as the traders, they moved to distant lands in their caravans and ships, the pilgrims, they also started with them to go to the nearby areas. So pilgrims are men and women who undertake journeys to holy places in order to offer worship. And children, the best known of the pilgrims are the Chinese Buddhist pilgrims. Faxian, that is 1600 years ago, Xuanzang 1400 years, and Aiqing 50 years. They visited the places related to the life of Buddha. So these were the Chinese Buddhist pilgrims who visited to the places which were related to the life of Buddha. Bhakti was generally understood as person's devotion to his or her chosen deity. Deity means gods and goddesses. So bhakti was chosen as the person, that is person which deity he or she is worshipping. Idea of bhakti is present in the Bhagavad Gita. Comes from the Sanskrit word bhaj, to divide or share. Anybody, whether rich or poor, belonging to the so-called high or low caste, men or women, could follow the path of bhakti. And this word bhakti is derived from the word Indus. They were the term used by Arabs and Iranians to refer to the people who lived to the east of the river. Around 2000 years ago, Christianity emerged in West Asia. The Christians of the Kerala, they were known as Syrian Christians, probably because they came from the West Asia, oldest Christian community in the world. So children, that completes your chapter. I hope you all have understood the chapter, and for better and more understanding, you have to go through the chapter, read the chapter with concentration, and mark all the important points the Chinese Buddhist pilgrims and the places of worship and the traders and the routes and everything. You have to go through it and mark it. And you have to remember, as all these things are very important. For till then, goodbye. Have a good day. Thank you.